Yo, what is good, my anime people? I don't have cold drink my anime people. Guys, I know you gotta start watching this show if you haven't been watching it already, but this is probably one of the more simple, straightforward shows I've seen in a while. I think I understand what the show is probably gonna go for the rest of the time. These little instances where he continuously goes out into this, dangerous place and continuously learns about different outcomes that have happened here. Not only that, but pretty much lives the lives of, um, you know, of all the fallen, and sometimes can even recover some people or learn some new stories that he may have heard of and not seen. But the thing that really makes me kind of anxious and wanting to know where this is going in the grand scheme of things is my man saw two kids fully transformed into monsters and was not shook by it in the slightest, guys. He looked at it and he was just like, yeah, there's your friends. Like, you said you wanted to see them. There they are, buddy. You found them. Like, that's your reaction, brother? Like it's man, this guy is ridiculous. Clearly, anything he's seen in here has probably, already topped everything he's gonna see. Maybe until the end of the season or something. Cause what I'm feeling in this whole entire show is a little bit of a Rimuru comparison when it comes down to the whole he's just so strong he can take anything out type of deal. But at the same time, with how he fights and with how he's kind of going about all of these encounters, he's doing it relatively smart. Like he's not putting himself into too much danger. As you see, one of the guy who he's actually taken in there to help and stuff is getting in the way, and he's telling him like don't interfere pretty much. But the whole thing with not interfering and not doing certain things is they don't, if you hear him say that, you don't necessarily know exactly what he's going at. And that was the funny thing about it, was when all of a sudden you sit there and you think about what he was doing compared to what he could have already done. Hence, when he was fighting against the plants earlier, um, we get this notion that he had even more of this control of the situation than we necessarily even probably thought. Um, because not only does he uh, handle, and like he doesn't really get caught up or even shooken up about what's happening during the fight between the monsters, but he also just handles the whole guy freaking out and doing what he's doing like he's a professional babysitter, like this man seemingly is going to be doing this probably for 3, 4 more episodes. I can see that happening, or maybe less. I'm not sure, but at the same time, it just feels like that's their way of kind of building him up and definitely building up the world of this other zone, like this other island that practically, if you're on it, you're dealing with something that could be highly, highly crazy and mess you up for life. Mind you, these kids, all they pretty much did was put some animals in a jar and wanted to see what the outcome would be. And by opening the jar, they lost their seeing, their sense of feeling. Like everything started to just go after they open a jar, So it's that type of stuff in this world that makes me so interested into what can you make me watch in the grand scheme of like a multiple part episodes, like what could last for a while and hold a very like dark consequence if things don't go the way that he needs it to go. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at. And if they do keep this up, which next week does look like another one of these episodes where he meets a character and they need help and he is helping them, um, which is fine. It's just I have a good feeling that once we get past this part of the everyday episodes where they're just helping, okay, this guy's good, help, this guy's good. Once they get past that little bits, I have a really good feeling the show's going to be quite fire. Um, and even when they show like this week's episode and they show how the interaction with the girl and him and the girl, like, Zero is, it even felt kind of like there was a little bit of a disconnect. Like, Zero definitely seems materialized, only in the sense of she doesn't necessarily know much of, like, probably the outside world, probably type of deal. And I don't know, it just feels strange to me that whatever she's kind of getting into with him, or whatever she's seeing as well as he's seeing, never really phases her as well as it doesn't phase him, in the same sense. So it's like that weird, they have a conjoined like response to mostly everything. She has the same like kind of greediness. I don't know. She's like a girl version of him, but maybe a little bit more curious about the things around her than he is. Um, I can see why people are not a fan of this show. Like, for 3 episodes now, he's been kind of the same person. He's kind of had the same, uh, thought process towards the same types of people, even though everybody that showed up here has quite different problems that they wanted to handle. And every time he kind of sees their problems, he either sympathizes with them or he wants them to see how what they've done or what they've probably came to do is probably not as honorable or gonna be as easy as they imagine. So I don't know. I'm just happy that there's a show that kind of has a character I'm interested in to learn the overall like personality that he has and stuff. I'm actually interested in that as much as I'm interested in the fact that Zero is also a character that seemingly could have some potential in her character arc as well. So can't wait to see what they bring for the overall necessary story of this, like just plot wise. What could be dangerous? Like, who could be a dangerous opponent besides, maybe the brother that this guy has, or the person that kind of gave him his first nudge into this world of protecting. We get to see him create out of what's his black like electricity. We get to see him create a pistol and like 2 mini Gatling guns that float. That he was controlling all of them at the same time. So it's safe to say this kid could probably make some absolutely ridiculous stuff. Not to mention he had a good like he has a good fighting style on the sense of he knows so much about these monsters and stuff, and he's done his research that whenever he puts himself in a position, he seemingly has a couple of ways out of it, or if he didn't have a couple of ways out of it, he already had his one way that's going to work perfectly fine. And that's one of those things of like decisive decision making that a lot of animes you make their main characters not even have that coherency of, oh, I need to make this move now and it needs to be this. It can't be anything else. Not a lot of characters get that off the bat, and usually when they grow and become that, it's really fun to watch. But in his case, he has that, and he has less of the personality or less of the whole I care about, full on protecting people and they don't get hurt or anything. He's more like, I like everything in the world, and humans shouldn't feel like I'm taking only your side when if I see something beautiful in nature, I just might take its side because I like it more. So it's a very, very twisted way of looking at humanity, but at the same time, it's a smart take on it because there's some people out there that would sacrifice their life for a dog, for, for multiple types of animals, lizards, snakes, all these different things. Yet some people will straight up leave their kids in the hot car and not even remember, while other people will see a dog in a hot car and they'll break your whole entire car window to get to that dog. So it's this notion of, how people can put the same amount of feeling behind that and animals is a really good way of attacking uh, the characters behind the people who are asking for aid. You always get to turn the finger on them and really look at what they're going to be causing by asking him to come and, probably killing off the things that are already living in the habitat, and then he comes to practically do what he has to do for them. So, I don't know. I'm really, really enjoying this. I'm not sure a lot of people are. Just by people seeing me say something positive about the show, I get dislikes, so I guess that's also a thing. But, I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm not gonna or act like I hate something for people to not dislike my videos. I really don't care. So I guess if you really want to dislike, drop away, but at the same time, at least give this show a decent watch. And if you don't like it and you can't last for like 4 or 5 episodes, I will definitely be here recording on it. To this day, I still don't know how many episodes we're getting in this first season. I learned a lot of episodes recently, but it looks like this show might still have a little bit of time till they announce it, maybe. Um, but yeah, if I get any information on that, I'll probably post it in the comments down below if you are interested in seeing how many episodes this show is going to contain. But yeah, overall, hope you guys have a good one. Make sure you check the details. I will have pictures from this week, and from every review I usually make, I always have pictures from the actual episode so you can get a good sense of what I'm talking about. If you don't watch the episode, you get to even see some things that I literally specifically talk about. So that's just one thing I enjoy to do. And that's probably another reason why I was kind of mad that I couldn't capture as much as I want when my internet is doo-doo. So, with all that being said, I will talk to you guys in the next one. So, I hope you stick around. And if you do, thank you so much for the support already, as is. And if you don't, thank you for even stopping by or clicking on my video. It was very nice. So, talk to you later. And peace.